Understanding Social Cognition and Its Dysfunctions by Ashley Kahn, Gabriel Risner, and Dayton Murley. Social cognition involves the brain based processes that allow us to perceive, interpret, and react to social cues. It covers how we understand ourselves and others, how we shape our impressions, and how we draw conclusions about social context. These abilities enable us to navigate the complexities of social life and interpret the actions and intentions of the people we interact with. Social cognition can be divided into three main domains. Social perception involves the perceptual processing of social information. Social perception, otherwise known as person perception, encompasses gathering information from various sources, including physical appearance, verbal communication, and nonverbal cues such as facial expressions, tone of voice, postures, and gestures. Social understanding reflects the ability to comprehend the cognitive or emotional states of others. The attribution process is the integration of observed perceptual information to conclude others' motivations, intentions, and emotions. This process allows us to explain and predict their behavior by attributing causes to their actions and distinguishing between internal factors such as personality traits and external factors like situational influences. Social decision making. Social decision making refers to planning behaviors within a social context while taking into account social norms, peer influence, and the effects of one's choices on those around them. Areas of the brain associated with social cognition. The ventromedial prefrontal cortex is a region in the brain that processes reward and punishment, regulates emotion, influences personality, and maintains homeostasis. Damage to the ventromedial prefrontal cortex in group studies has identified typical personality changes such as blunted affects, poor frustration tolerance, impaired goal directed behavior, and inappropriate conduct. The amygdala is a region in the brain that's involved in processing social emotions and interpreting facial expressions. The superior temporal sulcus, located in the temporal lobe of the brain, the STS plays a key role in interpreting facial expressions, body movements, and understanding others' intentions and emotions. Or, in other words, the superior temporal sulcus plays an important role in understanding social cues. The fusiform face area is a specialized area within the fusiform gyrus of the temporal lobe and is crucial for recognizing and perceiving human faces. The social brain and social cognitive dysfunction. The regions of the brain that enable us to interpret others' behaviors and participate in socially appropriate interactions, such as actions that conform to social norms and foster the well being of both ourselves and those around us, are collectively referred to as the social brain. The social brain serves as a foundation for identifying impairments in social cognition associated with neurological, psychiatric, and developmental conditions. Psychiatric disorders resulting from social cognitive impairments, such as schizophrenia and major depressive disorder, negatively affect a person's ability to form and maintain interpersonal relationships, as well as their capacity to function effectively as a member of society.
Schizophrenia can have positive and negative symptoms that correlate with how individuals live their lives, and these positive symptoms may include delusions and hallucinations, as well as disorganized behavior and speech, whereas these negative symptoms are associated with social withdrawal, lack of motivation, decreased energy, and loss of interest in normally enjoyable activities. Cognitive symptoms, which are often present before the onset of psychosis and remain after the treatment of psychosis with antipsychotics, include impairments in working memory, executive function, difficulty expressing thoughts, and reduced processing speed. These treatments that address specific aspects of schizophrenia. However, they don't necessarily target the negative symptoms of schizophrenia because antipsychotic drugs, which is the gold standard for treatment of schizophrenia, primarily address the positive symptoms such as delusions and auditory hallucinations, but they don't effectively treat negative symptoms or fully address daily functioning. Schizophrenia affects some major neurocognitive actions and processes, and studies have noticed that individuals with schizophrenia perform worse on cognitive tests. One study, their findings replicate the many other findings of other studies, which demonstrate the presence of neurocognitive defects in patients with schizophrenia and most other domains tested, including attention, concentration, immediate memory, working memory, delayed memory, and executive function. A recent study has also found that people with schizophrenia performed worse on all cognitive tests involving memory, attention, and executive function. These cognitive defects that result from schizophrenia can cause these individuals who have schizophrenia to have major symptoms that inhibit their lives significantly. These cognitive defects in various domains have been consistently replicated in patients with schizophrenia. In these patients with schizophrenia, delusions and hallucinations could arise as a result of defects in cognitive functions involving perceptual and attribution biases.
Major depressive disorder. Major depressive disorder, or MDD, is a mental health condition where a person experiences long lasting sadness or loss of interest that affects daily life. Here's a couple bullet points: loss of interest in activities once enjoyed, persistent sadness or emptiness, feelings of worthlessness or guilt. Now, how does major depressive disorder present in society? Here's a couple examples: trouble keeping up in responsibilities. Social interactions may feel overwhelming, leading to isolation. Did you know people with MDD often try to mask their feelings, so the impact is not obvious to others?